the latest. Let's bring in Connecting America foreign correspondent Amy Kellogg. Amy, just extraordinary news this morning. Can you tell us what has been agreed to?
I know it is so rare to be able to report a positive foreign news story. So this is truly a moment. What we know so far is that Israel's government needs to officially sign off on the deal, and they're meeting to do that today. And that is expected to happen, even if some of the right wing members of Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet have said they will vote against it. And then the withdrawal will begin once that happens. The withdrawal of Israeli troops to a agreed point will happen presumably by the end of the day on Friday. And then the hostages, as you've mentioned, are expected to be handed over. The living hostages are expected to be handed over and reunited with their families on Monday. We also are hearing that President Trump is likely to travel to the region, address Israel's Knesset or parliament on Sunday, and perhaps visit other parts of the region. Gaza has even been thrown out there by the Arab press as a possible destination, also Egypt. So that itinerary far from nailed down at this point. I don't even think there's confirmation that he will travel, but it's very easy to imagine that he would want to be there for his victory lap, as yes, all sides are praising President Trump for this, what appears to be very historic deal.
I know the hostage, hostage families have been reacting as well, obviously with some caution attached to that. What have we seen from the families, Amy?
Oh, we have seen celebrations in what one family member has said should no longer be called Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, but Returnees Square. They are thrilled beyond belief. Of course, there's trepidation about the bodies being found in Gaza and later returned, but the living hostages presumably will be back by early next week. And I think it's hard to overstate the joy. Um, I also think that it's been a very moving display of unity throughout these 2 years, that Israel as an entire nation has been so caught up in the angst and preoccupation over the fate of these hostages, the love for these hostages. And frankly, a lot of people are questioning why this couldn't have happened sooner, why they couldn't have been brought home sooner. 3 dozen believed to have been killed. I think it's important also to point out the joy experienced in Gaza. And I have to say, I felt quite moved to see people dancing in the streets, because I started to think about where they're going to go. The bombs will stop falling, but where are these displaced people going to go? There's barely a house standing in Gaza. And one quote that circulated in the press this morning from one Gazan was, "I have mixed feelings. I have joy, I have fear, and I also have memories." So I think it's important in all of the jubilation to think about what awaits those people who need
Yeah.
to get on with their lives.
And maybe you just hit on it, Amy, but if there's one word of caution that you might have, one, yeah, but we still need to see this, or what concerns you about this next phase?
For this to be truly historic, because there have been, I mean, this is the biggest war that Israel has been in with, at least with the Palestinians, but possibly since its existence. I think it is the longest war since Israel came into existence, but it's been cyclical with the Palestinians. So for this to be truly historic, it needs to last. And for it to last, frankly, there does need to be a Palestinian state, which is something Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that he is against. He will not live forever. This process will be long, but I think that's the big background. That's the big elephant looming in the room and in the region. Other sticking points will be the disarmament of Hamas and the the composition of a security force to oversee security, obviously to prevent flare-ups from happening. It's not just Hamas in Gaza
Yeah.
now. There are militias
Mhm.
who have gained strength as Hamas has petered out, and then the composition of a ruling authority. For now, the Palestinian Authority wants to get back into the picture, but that is not going to happen until it's been reformed. But all of those issues have been kicked forward to another time. But I think the fact that there are so many important players behind this wanting it to work out, from the Arabs to the Americans to the Europeans, there's going to be real pressure to push this forward step by step.
We had that moment yesterday, Amy, when we saw Secretary of State Marco Rubio passing President Trump that note, then whispering in his ear. Talk us through what happened there.
It was a White House event that Trump was giving, and Marco Rubio came over and whispered into President Trump's ear that that it looked like peace was going to break out, and Trump took a moment to digest it, and then said to the crowd, the assembled crowd, that he'd have to wrap up questions because he needed to get to work on peace in the Middle East. I have to say, I had a flashback moment to when President Bush was interrupted to be told of the bad news, the tragic news, the life-changing and world-changing news of the 9/11 attacks. And this time, the whispering in the ear was for something so very positive and possibly
Yeah.
uh, changing the world, a moment that will change the world.
Amy, just a really quick answer, and I hate to put you on the spot, 20 seconds. Will President Trump, can he win the Nobel Peace Prize? It's awarded tomorrow morning. In your research, is that voting probably already done? I mean, I think it's really hard to make a case against him at this point.
Yeah, I think it's hard to make a case against him too. Anything is possible. There's been a lot of lobbying for him in the last 24 hours from Israel to the families of the hostages. And I read something, it's frankly possible that the Nobel panel will feel a bit nervous about the repercussions on
If they
Norway if
don't.
they don't. So
Exactly.
I don't know. I
They
can't tell
should.
you, Dave. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they should, because it could look really bad.
A moment of drama
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, definitely. Amy Kellogg, thanks for being here to weigh in on all this. He would be the fifth U.S. president to be awarded the Nobel Prize.
Well, and
if
a
that
lot
were
of
to
people are
happen.
bringing up this morning why President Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. Far, 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 far less significant than this accomplishment.
Something less tangible. It was about
Yes, it was more
extraordinary
theoretical,
efforts to
honestly.
strengthen international diplomacy.
Correct.